So the All Blacks win the Rugby Championship yet again. But was there a bit of fortune involved? And let's look at their best team coming up to the end of year internationals. And I thought you were going to score.
Ask a better question, you get a better answer.
Hi guys, welcome back. So let's have a look at how New Zealand turned it around in the Rugby Championship from almost down and out, from Foster almost going, to the winners and looking full of confidence playing great rugby. But did they have a bit of good fortune? And there's nothing wrong with that. You need some good fortune in sport. There definitely was a little bit here as well, combined with the excellence from the coaches and the players, of course. So let's go through some of the possible fortune that Foster and New Zealand had, but let me know if you think it was just good planning. To start with, and before the Rugby Championship, it seemed pretty clear that Foster wanted to pick his old guard in the front row, but the disastrous run of results meant he kind of had to go for the untried trio, plus some injuries as well. So he had De Groot, Takiaho, Lomax, the likes of Bauer on the bench as well, Newell on the bench, and boy did they hit the ground running. Could have gone bad, but he had to play it and they really stepped up. So good fortune and good play from the players who had that chance. Now again, the second bit of good fortune possibly was around the assistant coaches. I think Foster clearly wanted to take, Plumtree and Moore through to the World Cup, but something had to give, and in the end it wasn't him, it was them, and it did appear in the fallout that some of the senior players weren't getting on well with those assistant coaches, weren't happy with what they were doing, and definitely, the strategy, the tactics and the performance from the defence, the attack, the forwards just went through the roof when they changed those assistant coaches. As soon as Jason Ryan came in, he literally transformed the pack from a weak link to a fearsome unit. We saw Joe Smith's strengths, his analytics, his strategy. Now, previously, Foster's strategy had been pretty self-destructive at times, throwing the ball around willy-nilly before establishing anything, gaining field position, ball retention, all of that. So that was a big turnaround. So finally, let's get on to the 23 that I think is their best at the moment going towards the end of the year internationals into the World Cup. Of course, things could change, but here's the team, and I think you go with those youngsters up front. I mean, De Groot, Takiaho, Lomax, they are an absolute unit at the moment, working together. They have made some mistakes, certainly De Groot and Lomax have made a few mistakes, missed tackles, etc., penalties, etc., but I think they learn together. Most importantly, the scrums look brilliant. Takiaho has been an absolute beast, and his huge size and power from hooker is great in the tight, scores good tries. Second rows, it's no change there. Ritalic's return to fitness has been pretty massive for them, definitely. Lighthouse line out and those big carries, crazy experience really help. Whitelock, I've got him down as my captain. Admittedly, maybe not quite the physical presence that some of the others in the side are, but his experience is invaluable. Calls that line out, makes some good decisions. So him and Ritalic with Whitelock at captain, I see is the way to go. Back row, a little bit left field here. So I have got Blackadder there at 8, a bit of a punt. But I still think the back row can get a bit stronger from what it is now, get even tougher. He definitely will be, next level of nastiness, a bit more size. So I just want him in there. Frizzell, I think, has done enough to stay at 6. You could have Barrett at 6, but I think he's such a great option on the bench. I'm playing Frizzell. Frizzell just hard man, get stuck in, pretty simple really. And let Surveyor have a go at 7, just unleash him, let Blackadder, Frizzell do a bit more of the tight work, let Surveyor roam and do what he wants. Into the back, Smith is still their best 9, although maybe not quite on top of his game, but I don't think there's many other options there. Hasn't quite got into the running attack as he used to. Maybe that's more of the strategy, I don't know. Richie Mwanga, with the introduction of Joe Smith, I think is going to go from strength to strength. I love the variety in his game. His kicking skills are great. Plus, when he wants to run, he's really quick as well, goes under the radar there with all the threat outside him. Centres had been a big problem for New Zealand. I definitely wasn't too happy with the 12s. Havili, Tapia, when they were fit, they probably would have started over Barrett, but Barrett got the start because they weren't fit in that last game, and boy did it take it. And I think he showed he is probably a bit better than them, or certainly offers a bit more. His carries are bigger, he's got the passing and offloading game and the biggest kick. Give him some more games in the autumn, in the end of year internationals, and see if he can cement that spot. If you have a solid hard man at 12 and a good offload, Rieko Ioane can really shine. devastating attacker, but we did see some big defensive plays in this Rugby Championship, try-saving tackles. So if him and Barrett can form a good combination, that looks really dangerous. And talking of dangerous, Clark, so dangerous. All the power there. So useful running off the shoulder of the likes of Mwanga or Barrett. Will absolutely hold defences and can make half breaks out of nothing as well. We saw a lot of that. And we finally saw Will Jordan just show why I think he's one of the biggest talents in world rugby. Could absolutely play 15, but when you've got Beauden Barrett playing really well, I think you can have him at 15, Jordan at 14, absolutely no problem. Now on the bench at hooker, I think I go for Taylor with his last performance of the Rugby Championship. Foster really needs Taylor and Coles to get into good form. I don't think there's time to find a new hooker. I don't think there's too many candidates anyway. So I'll give it to Taylor here, although he still has to prove himself a bit, I think. Now, in the propping stakes on the bench, I'm going with Bauer and Newell, but we've got the old stages there, Tuenga Fassi and Laulala as well, so they're pretty well stocked in the propping stakes, which is good. Like I mentioned, Scott Barrett is almost the perfect sub there. Could start, but perfect number 19 if you like. So flexible, it gives Foster so many options he can do with the other replacements. Now as the back row, out and out back row replacement, I think I'm going to go for Kane. I think Papali'i does a very similar job to Kane, so I think I give Kane on experience. You could go Tutu with that extra pace as a replacement, probably on at 8. Into the backs replacements, Christie's definitely the backup to Smith. I don't think he's pushed particularly hard for a start, but he can definitely improve a little bit, but definitely brings a bit of zip when he comes on. Havili still offers a lot of flexibility. You can play 12, you can play back 3, you could step up to 10, so I think he's very useful as a multi-role sub. And that gives space for an out-and-out finisher on the bench, which I think at the moment is Reece, although maybe another back 3 could push for that as well.